Ahoy! Today we are talking about mice, gaming mice more specifically. And we're going to talk about a new mouse that's coming out. So if you, I don't know if you've ever listened to me talk about this at all, but if you don't know, my current mouse is the Model O. The very first version, old cable and everything. Lightweight mouse, not the prettiest one with that logo on the side, but otherwise pretty nice. Has all the standard stuff like lightweight, RGB, many holes. And that one is getting a new version, which is a wireless one. And I think this wireless version is going to significantly change the game in terms of gaming mice. They have an absolutely terrible branding for it, in my opinion. I think this trailer and everything, completely unnecessary, but I'm just going to play it in the background anyways. But what they've done with this mouse is they've done a massive upgrade in multiple regards. It just blows the competition out of the water. So I know many of you are maybe not that involved in gaming mice. And at this point, I should probably say this video is not sponsored at all. There's no affiliate link here, at least so far. Maybe they give me one, hopefully. But I didn't get one in the past. And this is just my personal opinion because I actually really like this mouse. And I wanted to talk about it because it's a bit of a passion project of mine, even though I don't really buy much stuff. I look at a lot of stuff. And they are releasing a wireless version of the very mouse that I'm holding in my hand. And this one comes with a new sensor. That's just one part of the story, by the way. We get to the rest after. But this sensor is, in collaboration with Pixart. And it comes with a new low power technology, as well as 400 inches per second tracking speed, meaning the mouse is relatively accurate if you move it very quickly. It doesn't, miss steps. And 19,000 dpi, which is something nobody should really care about. If you're not familiar with mice, then I have this handy little chart here that I thought would be nice throwing on screen quickly. This is the new sensor here. These are like the old ones. And you can see like DPI-wise, it's a bit of an increase, but it really doesn't matter. No one really uses above 1,000 DPI in competitive play. And even if you go a little bit higher, no one's going to go to this numbers. No one's going above like 6,000 maybe if they're crazy, if they really want to move their mouse like this all the time. And then the next one is tracking speed, which again, we talked about. It's, measuring how accurately, measuring fast movements accurately. But then compared to the last sensor that was common in public, it's also half the error rate. Liftoff distance is a little bit lower. That honestly has never affected my usage of any mouse at all. But the more interesting part here is the power draw. The power draw is down to 1.5 from previously 21 or even 61. I think it's milliampere. So a significantly lower power usage, which is important because this mouse is wireless. So what does this all come together to? I mean, if you see these stats so far, you would think that's relatively expensive. By the way, this is not confirmed the sensor, but it's all the same stats and it's in collaboration with Pixart. This is actually from another new mouse from the Mountain something, but it must be the same server, just with a different, the same sensor, just with a different branding. But it comes together to this: the new Model O wireless, 2 extra grams over the original version, 69 grams, very, very lightweight. If you've never used a lightweight mouse before, it's highly recommended from my end. I really like the feeling now that I've used them for a while. I think they are significantly better than heavier mice, especially if you use them a lot throughout the day. Like, it just prevents a lot of strain on your wrist and everything. Comes with this new sensor that we just talked about. And it has 71 hours battery life, according to them, with RGB deactivated. Even if it ends up just being 60 hours or something in real life application, that's still a lot. And all of that for $80. And that's why I think this whole thing is going to be market changing. This is $80 US compared to, let's see, Logitech G Pro Wireless currently being at, I think it's like, $130 US, sometimes even $150 US in the US, obviously. So also the other stats here being significantly improved. That the Logitech starts at 80 grams, which it doesn't sound like that much more, obviously, but when you're going so low in weight, it is still a noticeable difference. And I think they're also, like, Logitech is also working on a lightweight version at the moment. So they're gonna look to compete with lightweight mice in general more. And also with a longer battery life than the Logitech G Pro Wireless, which is at 50 hours. This is important because obviously you want to compete with the market leader, and Logitech G Pro Wireless is the market leader, especially because a lot of pro players use it. It's just being advertised a lot all over the place. And Logitech is such a big brand name, especially since their older mice basically established a lot of things like the MX 510 and I think was it like MX 300 or something. All the older mice were just the gamer mice for a while. I think until Razer brought in some competition at least. So they have the throne that they can still rest on, and yeah, competing with that in every regard, basically new sensor, lower weight, higher battery life, as well as significantly lower price, should be a very, very nice, comfortable entry position for the Model O wireless. And I think that's very interesting because I think it's really going to shake up the market as well, because it means that other companies like Razer, for example, who also have a wireless mouse, will have to put up more competitive prices, because otherwise everyone is just going to get the Model O wireless. Now, if you're interested in this mouse at all, if you're thinking this is something, hey, you know, if I get any mouse, I might think about this. I want to quickly let you know that the shape may not be for everyone. That can be seen here. So we have a few different mice here that we can see. Right now, the ones that are visible here is the Model O and the Model D. And the Model O is basically the green one here. That's just basically a very uniform shape. I can actually just show it like that. You know, there's not much going on. You can see that it's a very straightforward, like not many humps or not many ergonomical features or anything. It's just, you know, relatively similar on both sides. And then you have the Model D in comparison, which has the significantly higher hump and more of an ergonomical shape to one side. And my hand is most certainly not ideal for the Model O. I bought the Model O back then because I wanted to get a lightweight mouse, and I originally bought the Air 58, which is the orange one here, which was sat in my hand perfectly, but broke after 2 months because Final Mouse, the company behind it, has a very terrible quality control. And as a result of that, I figured I'm going to go for the Model O, the glorious Model O, which was heavily, you know, in the eye of every gamer at that point that is concerned with lightweight mice, because it was such a market changer at that point, especially with the price and not being like an exclusive drop or something. Because I thought these would be very similar, but it turns out this little difference in the hump on the back actually makes a massive difference for how the mouse feels. And for me, this mouse is just way too flat. It's just too small for my hand. And I think the Model D, for me personally, will work better because it is still significantly more filling for the hand. And I think there's going to be a wireless version of that likely sooner rather than later. They basically had to change some internal components of the Model O to even fit the battery in and keep it light, and I'm assuming they're going to do that same thing with the Model D next if the Model O is a success, because I know that there's a lot of demand for that as well. And if that happens, then I will consider maybe investing into it at that point, so I will have a mouse that is actually comfortable for my hand in the long run, and I will have a wireless mouse. I'm okay with this one for now, but I think it's still an improvement for me personally. But if you like these like smaller shapes, if you have smaller hands, then it's definitely a fantastic mouse, and I think the wireless version is going to push that to the next level. And especially if you're coming from something like, say, the G502, not even Lightspeed, like the Logitech G502, the 502, then it's going to be a massive improvement for most users. There are obviously people that work with this shape somehow. I don't even know how. But for my hands, they are definitely not the right ones. It feels too narrow at some parts, and then, I don't know, weirdly long, but nothing to grip onto. And even Teets, who has way smaller hands, switched to another mouse afterwards and was like, wow, that's actually so much better. I just think that especially like things like the G502 have such a big market share because Logitech is just such an established name and people have never looked beyond that. And I think the new wireless Model O may really change that in a big way. And I think that's very exciting, as much as I don't like their weird trailer. But I guess I'm not the target demographic for that. And yeah, I wanted to let you guys know that this is happening, that if you maybe have never looked at other mice or are new to PC gaming or something, then this might be something cool for you to keep an eye out for, or maybe also wait for the other versions. They have a small version of the Model O as well as the Model D as well, the minus version, so maybe that's more of your fit. And I'm guessing that they're probably going to release a wireless version for all of them sooner or later, because otherwise I don't feel like they would invest into this entire technology if that wasn't like beneficial in one way or another. And they still have 2 other mice that are yet to be released, which I am assuming will have similar wireless capabilities as well, and the new sensor as well and everything. So that's going to be pretty cool and very nice to look forward to. And I think it's cool how far wireless technology has come as well. We see it there. I just realized what that reference is actually with the wires disappearing. They also put a lot of shade towards their competitors out here. But yeah, wireless mice used to be terrible for gaming because the response time was just too low. But with the new ones, it's actually something that you can look towards, where you, at some points, like the tests are basically like equal, if not almost faster. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty nice. And that's all I wanted to talk about. Again, this is not sponsored at all. I just thought it was cool. I've been using this mouse for, well, ever since it came out. I think it must have been, was it more than a year now? I think it's already more than a year at this point. Or around, yeah, a little bit more than a year. And I've been enjoying it as much as the shape is not for me personally. And maybe you will too. Who knows? But yeah, that's all for today. With that, I thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you for the patch notes later on. If you're new to the channel, press the sub button and maybe the bell, so you get notified of other upcoming videos. SLOTH, out.